gotten them into more trouble.
Yeah, it's just like, don't go into a fight. It's like, but this person's a fight. It's like, no, you gotta say it can be safe.
But I want to help.
You're an NPC.
All right, I hit the button. Hey everybody, welcome to
Hey.
Waffle Talk, the show where we discuss dice camera action. So the newest show is on Tuesday. It was episode 116. Shauna, can you give a summary of what happened?
All right. So after the events of the party and the defeating of Strahd, the group just like has a little bit of like downtime where they kind of like indulge in like the quiet domestic life for a little while. But after a session, Evelyn goes to the Spires of the Morning, and stuff is not right in the church at this point. There seems to be a great amount of tension that the Amateur is starting to become more prominent and kind of taking over. And she gets news from Sister Cynthia that the orphanage is not being taken care of or funded by the church anymore. And that makes her very angry. And she talks about it, talks to Father Sunbright. Dieth overhears Father Sunbright criticizing Evelyn under her breath, and basically just they have a fairly heated conversation that leads to Father Sunbright taking Dieth to talk into his office, with Paulton and Strix following hidden, while Evelyn talks to Lady Amkathra, who basically, remember, her son had died and was in the soulmonger with Evelyn after he died in a horse accident. So while Dieth is talking with Father Sunbright, he meets another visitor of the clergy named what was it? Father Cormoral. And after Father Cormoral excuses himself, Father Sunbright takes wine from his collection, drinks it, dies, and then is basically self-immolated to leaving cinders. And Evelyn comes in, and they're still trying to figure out what to do at this point. So that's where we leave them, in the church with a dead Father Sunbright.
Yeah. So anybody in the chat, look at Troopa. Anybody else? Any comments you make in the chat will appear on the screen, and we'll try to address them as we roll along. Hello, Fartigan. Yes, Father
Hello.
Sunbright is dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
So the poison, Chris said, was sun death, a drow poison.
I couldn't find anything on sun death poison.
I also tried looking it up.
Because there was a weird exchange between Evelyn and Father Sunbright in the beginning, where like he's looked the same age for a while. And
right, and Chris said he used magic.
There was a theory that Dylan brought. There was some information that Dylan brought up that was like kind of hidden about a vampires in the church, and it kind of like got my alarm bells like, all right.
Oh.
And the way he died. The
way he
burning.
died, yeah. That's a good point.
So I'm wondering if maybe he was turned, or there's some bad stuff happening in there.
Yeah, if sun death does like sunlight sensitivity damage.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Interesting.
Because it was like at the second. It's like, no, he hasn't aged. Oh, it must be magical. It's like,
I didn't even make a connection there. That's
a
really good idea. Wow.
Because I mean, it's possible, right, for vampires to be magically warded against, protected from the sun, right, from radiant stuff. So, yeah.
Oh man.
So that would be weird. Then it would be whoever poisoned him might have found out he was a vampire.
Drow poison from
Saima
Weiss, someone just put distilled holy water in his wine.
I was actually thinking it might be that. Because I remember there's a D&D game from 2001, Icewind Dale 2, where like the main villains are Cambions, and they were actually like visited a kingdom as like ambassadors, and they got served food with holy water in it, and it was like, oh, fuck no.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I'm wondering if this is like, because the way that Chris kind of like framed it was that they're pointing at Hallishan Daragon, which is like the incoming like successor to Zeres.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if maybe she knows that there's something wrong and that she's actually doing something for the church to protect it.
Look at Troopa, a poison that causes you to take sunlight damage. Isn't that what hogweed does? He OD'd on hogweed. I should have looked in the Drow the Underdark supplement, because that probably has a whole bunch of Drow poisons.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. But my initial thinking was that somebody was trying to frame the person who's coming to take over the church, who is a Drow. I think her name is Talastin Daragon.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, okay, so like, because what happened was they're in the office with Father Sunbright and this guy, this traveling priest, Father Cormeril / Father Morn. And Father Morn, I think, busted out the wine and then left the room.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, it was probably him. You know, that's what I was thinking. And that he's doing this to frame the person who's coming in to take over.
Yeah.
So that he can actually end up getting the spot once Talastin is blamed. That was
it could be someone else, in the church, because it seems like the church is very, very close to like a heresy at this point. Like it seems like they're very split on what's going on with Amanator.
Well, I don't see Sundeath in here, at least in the little poison section. So
that would
it could be from who knows what. It could be from like a dungeon article or something. Not sure.
That's an awesome book. That
it is. Yes, I've been using it a lot in my own game.
The second edition and the third edition Drow the Underdark books are like so freaking awesome. Even if you're not that into Drow, it's just like, this is insane how much good stuff is in there. Fartigan. I remember Chris mentioning Father Cormeril had ice blue eyes. Thought that was
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, it's like the things that he lingered on describing were like
And I thought that it was weird that this dude has two names.
Yeah.
That's really weird to me.
It is weird. And Chris went out of his way to describe that the guy has been all over the Sword Coast, like everywhere, like in Toril, like way out to like the edges, I think.
Yeah.
It was like, it's a lot of details you're giving, you know? You know?
Really important dude.
Not an important NPC. He just spent like 2 minutes. Talking about his eyebrows, you know? He's like, he's got a widow's peak and eyebrows.
Very detailed description of who this character was.
And it was a little like, they go to the church, the Spires of the Morning, and, you know, there's a lot of NPCs, priest NPCs. And I was worried it would be hard to juggle. But I mean, you know, I was writing the wiki as I watched, so it wasn't that hard.
Many,
But I mean, it could get confusing, like, you know, because Zeres ran this church. Zeres was the woman that back when Evelyn was in the Soulmonger, Zeres had died and was in there. Along with the little kid that she ended up running into again in this episode as well. So it's a little weird. So Zeres was dead, and she had been met. And so when she died, Sunbright took over the temple.
Sunbright is the caretaker, but I think Daragon is the successor, or the person person sent to take over.
And she's coming from Cormyr.
Yeah. Like the way I understand it, that Sunbright is the caretaker, and there's going to be like an election to figure out who runs the Fires of the Morning. But
Yeah.
Daragon was Zeres's actual picked successor.
Yeah.
But I think and that's why Sunbright got like Evelyn's. Oh yeah, you support me.
Oh yeah,
which
she
is
just
also brought
automatic
up.
support for like whatever I do.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a dude that she's known.
Yeah.
So
It seems like something changed. I don't think Evelyn would have that much of a glowing like memory of him.
Yeah.
If this is how he acts all the time.
Which, if he had been like turned into a vampire, I think that would also account for that a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
That's Sunbright was acting like he owned the place already.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just
really
hardline, just changing stuff to fit without. Yeah.
And he was dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
Like,
that was
OP, you know?
that was like an intense conversation. Like Dieth is that's
Dieth didn't like that.
Dieth, that's one thing I like that I admire with Dieth is that he will stand up for his friends, like kind of no matter what. Like he gets very protective of them, and
oh yeah.
Ias is this is a Star Trek reference. You're gonna have to help.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, it's definitely that. It's definitely that.
DS9 Bajor stuff.
Bajor stuff. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot
What
of
was it?
the election of the Kai
Win
and
Kai
Kai Win.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Getting that vibes from like some things.
I'm pretty sure Chris is into Star Trek. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He might be
Oh yeah.
taking ideas from that show.
And I know that Chris's DM experience column is what got me to watch Deep Space Nine in the first place. So
Really?
yeah, because he mentioned it all the time. So I was like, okay.
Wow. Yeah, so like we finally kind of got into the church politics of Lathander and a Monitor.
Yep.
And okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn worships Lathander.
Yeah.
Lathander is her god.
Yeah.
But in this church, a Monitor, supposedly a Monitor and Lathander are linked.
It depends on interpretation that they're different gods with similar portfolios, or they're the same person.
Or it's like one of those weird Trinity things.
Yeah, it's
like different, but they're also the same.
Yeah, it depends. There's a lot of like in D&D past, there's a lot of like heresies over what the nature of a Monitor is, and what the portfolios are. It's very strange.
And so Sunbright was preparing this church for the arrival, or I don't know, coming of a Monitor.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's like we're gonna worship a new god. It's sort of what it's like. It's very strange.
It's like it's a tangent of like, or a sect of the church that is taking over, or is when they shift and stuff like that. So it's like it's those things that can naturally happen. But I can see where Evelyn would there be some friction, because the way that a Monitor is described, a Monitor is a lot more lawful than more focused on law and letter of the law than Lathander is. Lathander is intent and is like neutral good, which fits more with him, because it's like it's a Monitor is verging on between lawful good and like lawful neutral in a way.
Saima asks a good question. Isn't a Monitor currently still a dead god? I was reading up on this before we did this, and I know that in the old Baldur's Gate 2 game, there's actually a quest where it confirms that a Monitor is a dead god. But I believe the Sundering, right, which was kind of the storyline that took place right before 5th edition came out. There's this over god Ao who has this tablet of fate, and he rewrote it and brought a whole bunch of dead gods back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? And then,
Yeah,
so a Monitor is
'Cause-
back.
I know that.
And it wasn't a Monitor back and forth also?
A Monitor
Yeah.
was there was very little Lathander in 4th, from what I remember. I'm Lathander for me was totally new when 5th rolled around. I didn't realize that there was that much history with it.
Yeah, because for the spell plague stuff, a lot of gods got revealed to be the same god. So
Yeah.
like Selune, the Ferunian moon goddess, and the Elven moon goddess Sehanine, and like all these other gods turned out to be the same god. So I was like, oh, okay.
There was
And then for 5th edition, they changed it, and AO rewrote the tablets, and a bunch of gods split up, and a bunch of gods combined, and a bunch of gods came back.
Mhm.
And because I know that Baal, the god of murder from Baldur's Gate, is back and alive again. So
Yeah.
Look at Trooper doing research. I found
Oh.
something. The Sun Death is a campaign detailed in the Astromundi Cluster box set,
Mm.
though I doubt there's any relation there, as it seems to refer to an
Oh.
illithid plot instead of a poison.
right,
Now,
Hmm.
okay,
right.
in the 2nd edition Mind Flayer trilogy by Bruce Cordell, which I love, that's all about how the Mind Flayers are extinguishing the sun, which
Yeah.
sounds like a sun death. But I don't, I've never, Astromundi Cluster, I played it a little bit, but I never read the box set, so I'm not
Mhm.
sure about that story. But that's, the sun death.
I
But
believe
that was
they're-
extinguishing the entire sun of your campaign setting. And you have to go to the Mind Flayer homeworld to
Oh,
deal
boy.
with it, and you
Yeah.
fight an avatar of one of the Mind Flayer gods. It's awesome. That's an awesome trilogy.
Actually believe in this Underdark. Yeah, there is. There's actually a place in Erelhai Sinlu, the big Drow city, that's called the AntiSolar Institute, where Mind Flayers and Drow work together and are trying to turn out the sun.
Wait, the AntiSolar Institute?
Yes.
That is so
Mhm.
awesome. Look at Fartigan quoting Wikipedia.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Brotherhood of the Glorious Sun has long existed within the Church of Lathander, tolerated by other followers of the Morning Lord, and preaching that Lathander is the reincarnated form of a Monitor. Heretics of the Risen Sun take the
Mhm.
Brotherhood's beliefs one step further into heresy by preaching that the time of Lathander's transformation is nigh and a Monitor is about
Yeah.
to return.
Mm.
Man, there's so
Yep.
much lore out
Yeah.
there.
And the fact that a Monitor is Netherese and
Mm.
Feruni and Lathander is more like in the area that we're in, that Waterdeep is in. So it's a little bit of like
Mm.
different regions and
No,
stuff happening.
Netherese, that's Netheril, right? The
Yep.
ancient magic kingdom
Yep.
or something.
Mhm.
And they had the mythals, the magic
Yep.
things that would protect their cities. Is that right?
And their cities could float and stuff. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saima Wisen, non-sunner, back at it again. Yes. So like, yeah, Chris has like so many things to play with. So it's like hard to guess what angle he's taking because
Yeah.
there is so much material out there for him to use. He
Yeah.
generally
Mhm.
does try to stick to the official, whatever they're doing,
Mhm.
but I'm not clear on what counts in 5th in the books as far as
Yeah.
Lathander and a Monitor. Personally, I like the idea because Evelyn met Lathander, I believe, when she almost
Yeah.
died, and he was holding the baby. I like to think that the baby is a Monitor being reborn. That's my
That's
new,
not a bad idea.
That's not a yeah.
it's my new pet theory. But I mean, when they said on this episode that a Monitor, I'm not sure if they said rebirthed or rising or something.
Yeah. Similar, like kind of
And it's like it
similar
seems like,
language.
is a Monitor going to show up in this church in some form?
Yeah. Or some sort of
Like,
symbol.
There's going to be some kind of event or ritual that's going to be
Mhm.
kind of like this earth-shattering thing. And like, what if Evelyn is a paladin who
Mhm.
worships Lathander,
Yeah.
And Lathander is being phased out of the cosmos.
Yeah.
I mean, would she either jump to a Monitor or lose her powers? Or will she get to keep drawing from Lathander?
Yeah, I don't know. Like the way that she's going, she's borderline heretic at this point. If the church is kind of going in the way that Father Sunbright wants it to go.
And that raises a question about Paladins in 5th edition and like where their power comes from. Like, because I'm not like.
Is it? Yeah.
Does a Paladin in 5th edition get their power from the god, or do they get it from some sort of like inner font of power from holding their oath, or it's a weird one.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think Evelyn wants to jump to a Monitor.
No,
no,
I don't think so either.
She's 100% devoted to Lathander.
Lathander, yeah. Like her tie isn't necessarily it's to Lathander, not necessarily as strongly to the church. It seems like. Yeah.
And it seems like that this shift is not happening all over the Forgotten Realms, just in the city of Waterdeep and in this church. Is that?
Yeah, as far as we know, we haven't really heard that much out.
It's true.
Oh, look at Trooper. I know there's been Planescape stuff, but has there been any Spelljammer stuff? Yes, he has mentioned. There's not a lot, but Warrington Munt did say he was on a Spelljammer. So, and he's a GIF. He's from the Spelljammer setting. They've kind of dangled just little touches of Spelljammer. Like in Storm King's Thunder, there is a Spelljammer in there, although it's used for a different purpose. But the map is identical to one of the ships in the original box set. And Saima, I still wonder to this day, did Paulton also see Lathander when he went as a raven to get Evelyn's soul? I don't know. He was so well. I think she met with Lathander, and then she started getting sucked into the Soulmonger. And then Paulton showed up in giant raven form and immediately swooped in and grabbed her. And then they both went to the Raven Queen's place. Which is interesting because that actually kind of works, because the Raven Queen is the goddess of death. So in this quasi realm where she's passing through, it makes sense that, she could take that one step from wherever. I'm not sure where she was exactly. The ethereal plane, maybe?
And
then it could be
that's where the soul goes between wherever it goes, right? Yeah.
And that or like some sort of transcendental experience in one of the astral conduits that connects the material plane to the outer planes. But
yeah. And then she jumped to the Raven Queen's realm, and I mean, souls go. That's where they go. They go to the Raven Queen. Although Chris has such an interesting, different. His presentation of the Raven Queen is very different, although I think that's what's in the Tome of Foes. His Raven Queen is the bird nest lady. I can't get used to that. I'm like, so
I mean, it's
thrown by
been
that.
fairly nebulous, hasn't it? Throughout, even through 4th.
Well, 4th, freaking, you meet her in the HPE path, the Orcus path, where the final Prince of Undeath, the level. I know people who play 5th and haven't played 4th. This is gonna sound weird. The level 30 adventure where you fight Orcus to save the Raven Queen, because Orcus stabs the Raven Queen with the Shard of Evil, and there's this awesome William O'Connor art of she's like. And he's like, and it's really awesome. And this is in the Raven Queen's temple, and you meet her, and she's like a goth lady with raven feathers and stuff, and she's got her Tim Burton death angels hanging around. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm getting lost on a tangent. Saima. I still wonder to this day. Oh, we did that one, but a Monitor preacher guy was going around the whole coast, right? Yeah. Father Andrew Cormerrill, aka Father Andrew Morn. You're right. Why does he have 2 names? Alias, an alias.
Huh.
I do wonder. because I know at the end we saw they went out looking for Sister Insincia, and they saw that weird elf dude who disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
It was a half elf with a blonde mohawk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he like blew a kiss to death and then just disappeared.
Hmm.
There is a theory on Reddit, on the subreddit,
Mm.
and that theory is that mohawked person is actually Jarl Axl in disguise.
Hmm.
I was wondering, yeah,
Yeah.
because that would, like, Dragondareth is a mercenary group, so an assassination wouldn't be weird. That would explain how they got Drow Poison.
Yeah.
And I know that Jarl Axl also has a brand of wine that he makes. So it could be very easy
Yeah.
to take
Hey.
wine,
Yeah.
put poison in it. Oh, Father Sunbright, you're a collector of wine?
Yeah. Just
Here
gifted.
you go.
Here's this gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
So, yeah.
And it would get away for having Jarl Axl be involved in this.
And the
More
thinking
powerful.
on Reddit was that Jarl Axl, because Talastin is also a drow.
Yeah.
So Jarl Axl only employs drow. So maybe he wants to discredit Talastin just coming in and kind of blocking out. Or maybe he has some past with this lady, because Jarl Axl gets around,
Mm-hmm.
That's possible.
So it's possible that that does. Because, like, what's weird is he mentioned the Mohawk person, and, like, that seemed familiar to me, but I couldn't place it.
Yeah.
I'm just, maybe it's nothing, but...
We'll see. Yeah.
It just, that one felt like one too many new NPCs to be introduced in one,
Mm-hmm.
It was just like,
Well,
that's
to be fair,
too many disparate elements, I felt like there had to be a thread somewhere in there.
Yeah, this seems like for the next couple, this is going to be very evil and church stuff for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
because they're in a real bad position right now where they are. Like they have a dead priest, they have a dead like clergyman, temporary head of the church during like a real tense time with. So you have to watch out. This has the thing to be really dangerous for the group.
Diath was supposedly the only person in the room with him when he died.
Yep.
Is
that anyone
a
saw
rogue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Boy, I don't think it's any like secret that the Waffle crew is not a fan of Father Sunbright after the big thing that happened outside.
Yeah. And
so yeah.
Yeah, and they're not exactly probably the favorite with the city. Like they've been troublemakers from like day one in that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not their fault, but yeah, you've had multiple encounters with the Waterdeep like guard and stuff like as it is.
Let's see. Look at Troopa. Raven Queen is in a campaign you're playing in. Turn patron to the Shadar Kenku. That's odd. Instead of the Shadar guy. That's pretty cool. Fardigan. Pretty sure Chris said that the bottle that Sunbright was drinking from had been drank from before.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that the Sun Death was inserted recently.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty, hello Scotty, how you doing?
Hey.
Saima Diaz about to get nailed by Chris again. The thing, okay, that was the thing. Like as a DM, that's one of the things I don't like doing is framing the characters for murder, because it's hard to run fairly, right? Because like they're right there in the room with the dead body, and when you arrest characters in D&D, it's a thing, and it can get weird, because they're going to be fighting the city guards.
Because I mean, if they get arrested, they're potentially going to die.
Yeah, they're shackled and they're in jail, and the players are usually expecting to be able to jailbreak,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But it could get real tedious where it's like you just don't give them the option of escape, or if Chris uses those dimensional shackles, they can't teleport out.
Mm.
And it's just like, it's a weird thing. Although I think Chris would kind of hand wave and jump to whatever. He's not afraid to do that. He'll do that.
Yeah.
Omen fart again. Omen could bail them out.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think if they do get arrested, I don't think it's to be very long for them to be in jail, considering what happened and the severity of concerning the law in Waterdeep for killing.
And then
It's true.
all your
person of the cloth,
all your gear is taken. So that's a whole other thing where it's like you have to go find your gear. And it's the whole thing is like it's like this minefield for the DM, and there's not a lot of good that can come of it. It's a lot. My brother ran Drizzt in my campaign a long time ago, and Drizzt is still in prison to this day because I don't know what he did, but he got thrown in prison and nobody wanted to break him out, and he just he just stayed in prison. So that was it.
Although you bringing up them being framed does remind me again that when they went down to the Xanathar's lair, Xanathar was having the conversation with the Zentarum about doppelgangers framing the party. So maybe Andrew Warren might be a doppelganger.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways for them to frame the Waffle crew.
And Chris has the topic of that drow that's in the Xanathar's place has come up multiple times. And it seems like it's an important point, but the group doesn't bite on it ever.
They just want to.
Yeah, like Sam Sykes was actually linked to that guy. I think Sam Sykes' whole thing was he was supposed to go down there and kill that guy. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he wasn't able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Because Evelyn got turned to stone. The Xanathar really left his mark. He killed Binwin.
Yeah.
And then he killed Evelyn.
Evelyn
came
also, or basically also responsible for Paulton being disintegrated also too. So
it's true.
Yeah.
Just two out of the four.
That's he had a nice run there. Scotty says, I doubt this is the last we'll see of Father Sunbright. He's the head of one of the biggest churches in Waterdeep. I'm sure they'll be resurrecting him. That's, you know what? They true resurrection they could do, right?
Yeah.
True resurrection is like a big spell, though.
Yeah, I mean, but he's pretty high up.
That's true. He's high up.
Yeah, if they're going to do it for anybody, a major figure in the church would definitely be that person.
That's always one of those weird things where you have to ask how many NPCs can cast 9th level spells. That's always one of those weird questions you have to ask. Think about that.
And I don't know if the church is in place to be able to do that at this point.
I would think that they will have investigators who can cast Speak with Dead.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So,
because the Waterdeep Guard has the Order of Mages and Protectors who cast spells and stuff.
Yeah. And so they could speak with dead. And then what's weird is would Father Sunbright lie from beyond the grave?
Who knows? I mean, which
question?
I guess you could, right?
It's pretty murky. What would happen?
I don't think they have any compulsion to tell the truth. So good point.
But why would he at this point? He's dead.
Yeah.
But if anybody in the city could bring him back, it would be somebody in the church. Maybe once Talastin gets there, she could cast it.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I imagine maybe very soon we might see.
And Aya, great point, Aya. Zone of Truth, right? I think Evelyn has that, and she could have used it to clear things up with the church, right? So there's this dead guy, and then people are going to be like, what happened? She could have cast Zone of Truth, which they, in theory, would all be familiar with.
Yeah.
And the group could explain what happened, and, he's telling the truth. You could actually detect the truth.
Yeah.
So that would have been a way for them, I think, to get out of this frame job, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
But if Father Morin seems like a sinister character.
Yeah.
So
and I mean,
not.
Evelyn's also not impartial in that whole degree. I mean, if she would lie for someone, she would lie for them probably. So
Diaz can't roll lower. That's a good point. Diaz can't roll lower than a 21 for lockpicking. No
his
jail can
feet
hold him.
makes him
You know what?
very skilled at like just his.
You're right.
Skill checks are.
And that would be a nice way for him to shine. Also, you know, just that actually is a really good point. Diaz could break out of almost any prison, probably.
Yeah.
Like you know, just give him a hairpin or whatever, and he can break out. You're right. So yeah, maybe jail wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yeah.
It might actually be a really cool thing. Look at Troopa, is the party a lawful bunch?
No.
They're chaotic as can be, as far as
even Evelyn isn't very lawful if it goes against like something she doesn't believe in.
Yeah, they've that's been a kind of a thing in the show. They don't have any guiding principles, really, it seems like, other than devotion to one another.
Yeah.
And they've gotten into some really kind of murky ethical waters, you know. I mean, the wave that hit Port Nyanzaru.
Yeah.
This Simon traps a little kid. Cover up, basically, is what happened there. There was a cover up. You know, a lot of things like that where the consequences of their actions are kind of handled in a questionable, not in a lawful good way. I guess is the way. But so yeah, they're definitely not lawful at all.
Not also
it's almost I almost want to say not good, but I think when it comes down to it, they are good.
They're good. They're just not built for like a civilized place. Because it's like they're fine. They're fine in like Barovia, or they're fine even in Port 90 they're fine. But like in some place as like cosmopolitan as like Waterdeep, they're not. They feel off. With like all the laws and stuff like that, it feels
they don't belong in civilization.
No, because it's like every time they go back to like their domestic stuff in the house, it feels like they're playing at something. Like they're not actually like, because even though because with this episode, even with like the amount of time that they have, they still get drawn back to the adventure thing. Like they don't sleep well, like, or they train the thing that they spend time, like Paladin spends time, is like arming his Andrew, like getting Andrew to shoot things. Or like even with Waffles, like Waffles isn't probably not super happy like they keep Waffles upstairs all the time.
That's true. Waffles is a giant bear.
Also, Waffles is obese now, apparently.
Yeah, because of the bakery.
You feed any animal pies for majority of his diet. It's Waffles is a big animal now. Waffles is big to start off with.
In a building like that.
Yeah. Also, yeah, the kids are still there. Warrington Mutton is there now.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. All right. Fell behind. Let's see. I could purge him of the vampirism. I think so. Yeah. Does Sunbright know?
It's been purged now, I guess.
Does Sunbright know that Diath wasn't the one who poisoned him?
Good
question.
Probably had no idea he was poisoned in the first place.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty sudden.
He just said, I feel hot.
I feel hot. And then just like.
Which is, Chris gave him that just a touch of a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like, he had that just little moment where he could have.
Yeah.
It probably would have been too late. But if he was.
Yeah.
Probably too late, but I like that Chris just gave it, was bold enough to put that little phrase in there and not immediately have him die. I thought that
that reminds me of the third Game of Thrones book, Storm of Swords, where Joffrey gets poisoned and like he starts to like cough and stuff, and everybody's just like, oh well,
yeah,
he's just coughing. and then he falls over and he dies, and it's like,
oh no, yeah, because it seems innocuous at first. It's like, oh, just it's like,
yeah,
oh no, it's like, is it going on for too long, or there's something bad happens? It's like, oh,
as a DM, I kind of learned that if you're going to throw those little things in there, you should have some that you should have it where, like in your example of the coughing, have people just cough in your game and have it mean nothing. So that way it doesn't stick out when it matters, you know?
yeah.
It's like throw in some little details like that. So when they hear you say it, they'll go, oh, well, this has happened before. And because otherwise it's like, if you never have somebody cough in your game, and then just all of a sudden this person's coughing, the group's their antennas are gonna go up.
It's the way that Chris used it was great, because like I think everyone's attention is focused on how heated that conversation was, and just kind of like just let that pass through, and just like until it's like, oh no.
Scotty,
boy, oh boy.
I don't think the dead can lie via the spell. Let me check. Okay. Saima, the corpse can't lie when Speak with Dead is cast. Chris actually reminded them on air about the... Really? I missed that. Chris reminded them on air about the existence of Zone of Truth.
He does that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's true.
And they still didn't do it.
He says things like in the beginning, or like during like just like little offhand things that I probably wouldn't pick up on necessarily either, but like it's like, God, you watch it back, it's like, damn it.
Troopa says, isn't there the issue of the Zone of Truth not working if people make their save? Scotty, until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. The corpse knows only what it knew in life, including languages. The answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer if you are hostile to it or it recognizes you as an enemy.
It doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
So it is useful, but at the same time,
we're also dealing
like a goblin
with
that you murdered. It's not going to give you a good answer.
No, it's gonna be mad. It knows that you killed it.
Troopa. By the way, thank you everybody for making all these comments. Like it's so awesome. You add so much to the show. Troopa. They're like the kind of folk that might end up in Easgard instead of Arborea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Deep
Arborea is also
planar cut
pretty wild.
Put me some Isgard.
Saima, their alignment is neutral fine. They're not fine a lot. Well,
they're not.
I think they're transitioning over fine. Like they were like panicky, screaming all the time, and now they seem to be settling in, getting comfortable with their new power level.
Yeah.
And they're not as panicked. Well, Strix is still very panicky.
Less panicky though.
But they seem to be like kind of calming down to a degree as they realize.
Sorted out, yeah.
I mean, because they really beat down Strahd. They put him down, and I think and Strahd was they're like they were terrified of Strahd, and they beat him so badly.
They beat him badly, and he had minions. He had vampires, actually, like other vampires to fight. And
and Dieth was, I think Dieth did express on this episode that he felt like he didn't contribute much.
Yeah, that's been like something that's Dieth primarily his like hanging point right now, is that he feels like he can't contribute.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing thing with him, and it's weird because he's the leader.
Yeah.
And he does a ton of damage.
He does a ton of damage, but he's not like, it's the Sokka thing in like Avatar. Like it's the same. He's the leader. When he fights, he is effective. It's just like everyone else has these powers that he doesn't have. Like Evelyn has her holy thing. She has holy spells. Paulton and Strix have all these like fireballs, like compulsions and counter spells. It's just like he's a skilled person.
But when those Drow gunslingers attacked and they dropped that silence spell, It was
Yeah.
him and Ezvile doing all the damage, and they slaughtered everyone.
Yeah.
So I would hope that the group. I the more like as time rolls on, the more I think Ezvile is awesome, and Ezvile and Dieth are an awesome team, and I want to see them just have their own adventure, just them, because they were awesome together. Two rogues, kicking butt, and Strix getting all flustered. It's just awesome. And then in the live show, she's just right next to him on the couch, and then Paulton wants to create some space, and he creates a little barrier.
We also learned from this show that Strix doesn't have a concept of borrowing.
She doesn't?
No.
What, she just takes?
Well, no, she thought Evelyn gave her the dress.
Oh, right.
And then just burned it. It's like, I thought you gave that to me. It's like, no, Strix, when someone gives you something expensive to wear,
shouldn't
they
burn
want
it.
it back.
You might need to wear it in real life again.
She also ripped up at it during the party episode.
Gotta metagame a little bit. That's a cool costume. You don't want to just torch it.
To be fair, Strix and Dieth don't like being fancied up. That's for their fans.
Hey, I heard PAX Unplugged Chris is not going to be there.
Yeah,
is that true? So
Maybe.
they're not having a live game?
They are having a live show.
They are. From what it sounds like in the description, it's going to be another episode like the Zopa episode, maybe.
Zopa or the therapy episode.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to run it?
I mean, they can I think Chris probably trusts them to kind of with those one-off sessions, because they've had two of those. One of those, the Zopa episode, he wasn't there, and they're all DMs, so
that's also true.
So I think it's good hands.
Let's see. This show has almost always been DM'd by Chris. There's one episode Mark Hulmes ran.
Yeah, the Zopa episode, he wasn't there.
And one episode that Anna ran, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So maybe
that's right.
Because I know Jared is a DM, and I know that Holly is a DM.
And
it would be cool if over the course of the show, every player got to run one session.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that'd be great.
Because they're all fairly different as far as how they run.
Yeah.
Vardigan, Mike, that would be so cool.
God,
if you got Jerry Holkins.
Oh, they got to get Jim Dark Magic on this so they can kill him. They can kill 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So the description on the schedule of PAX Unplugged is: in this special fireside episode, get to know the characters and their stories even better as they gather once again with a special guest who will help them on their suboptimal yet heartwarming journey. There you go.
They do need therapy again, though, I think.
So there is going to be a guest.
I would bet it's going to be Jerry. The DM of Acquisitions Inc. I hope it is. That would be really cool. And he's actually run sort of for them as well. The episode 100. They co-DM'd and they split the groups together. Oh, Scotty wants to know what day and time.
It's Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Friday 30. Yeah.
Simon says that Nate DMs a home game.
Yep, he
does.
He's DM'd, Yep. So all of them have experience, and they've they're good enough not to they're super into it. So they can.
Nate came a long way. Now he's running a game.
Yeah.
Good for him,
and
man.
I know that personally in my home game, I've had a session where my players each came up with a level of a mega dungeon, and they each DM'd it while we played through it, which it's really fun, actually.
Because if everyone's invested, the players, as much as DM, don't want to make things, to ruin things with hijinks and stuff like that would hurt the campaign. So it's if the group's into it and you can trust them, you can pretty much let them do stuff like that. And I think it's great.
Go wild.
Yeah, 'cause they will hurt themselves if you let them do that. Yeah. They will not take pity on each other, like on their characters or the other characters. It's great.
Fartigan makes a good point up there. When they fought Strahd, they had a lot of people helping. It wasn't just the Waffle crew; it was also the
majority
brothers
damage
and Ezvile.
Mm-hmm.
So that is true.
That is true, but
Wow.
majority of the damage was Evelyn
and there was
and Nate. And
the brothers never hit Strahd, I don't believe.
No.
And Ezvile was fighting the were-rats and stuff.
It was Paulton and Evelyn, because they there was the charm and then the breaking of the charm, which kind of took them out for a little bit.
There was actually a comment on the subreddit about this. Somebody had blamed the vampire hunters for attacking Strahd on the night you're not supposed to attack your enemies.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to see Strahd interact more with Felicia Day's ghost character. And I don't know what was intended to happen there. Just that whole setup. If Chris had some, because he specifically set up a night where people aren't supposed to attack each other.
Yeah.
But then they did.
I mean, you put Strahd in there.
And
you put vampire hunters there. I think you're expecting a fight at some point.
It's one of those things where you dangle a villain out in front of someone and you're like, oh, but you can't hurt him.
Yeah,
are you going to hurt him?
It's like, yeah.
And so I think you kind of have to expect either situation,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had noted that a D&D combat in general, when you have like 8 players, it's super slow. And they did. They had 8 freaking players.
Yeah.
So Saima, Chris would have just kept flirting for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Flirting with the ghost?
Yeah.
That or Paulton's
conversation. Yeah, Paulton.
Or Paulton. Yeah. I really liked that live show. I really was.
It was good. Yeah.
Pumped up about that.
Apparently, Paulton likes that him being dressed up. He's wearing that thing more, like even after even this episode. He's like, keep it.
What do you mean, Paulton?
Like he likes the fancy outfit. Like he was wearing the fancy outfit.
Oh.
Everyone else just like no.
DS stripped like immediately.
He's like, I hate this.
Strix burned it.
I don't think that outfit was not intact from even beginning at the party.
No.
Oh, we're almost out of time, but I have a few more notes that I had written down. They hung up the remains of the Strahd doll in the bar. Yeah. So they have the outer skin of the Mr. Shambleface doll.
No vampires.
And they decided to, like a stake, drive a nail through it, hang it, and I guess they're gonna get a little sign that said no vampires. Which is is that asking for trouble? Or
yeah, I think yeah.
I like the idea of them having trophies in their bar, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you have a home, that's what the home was for.
Yeah, I imagine that's what Yawning Portal is, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Durnan opened it after he went to Undermountain, so there's probably a bunch of trophies.
It's magic TGI Fridays in that place.
I can totally see this coming back to
bite them. Hollywood.
To bite them in the butt.
Yeah. Yeah, everything they do can bite them in the ass.
Although I do like that Chris made a point of Todd showing up with the guard and telling them that the stuff at the Sornin festival wasn't gonna blow back on them.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I saw in the chat during the show. That people were complaining about that, the vampire hunters started the fight, but the Waffles are gonna get in trouble.
No, they got.
But I think it's nice that Chris didn't it.
Yeah.
Because they killed the Xanathar and stuff, so they should have a certain level of immunity.
I mean, there was probably witness that they didn't start it, and it's just they got involved in a fight that.
And then I think Waterdeep is presented as a city that is used to having adventurers running around in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that the guards in the city, to a degree, like know that adventurers can be a boon,
Yeah.
and will give them some latitude, maybe.
Yeah, because I imagine that's why they're still able to run a bakery despite everything that's happened. Like, I think if it was a less like, adventurers like our common city, they would have probably been like, you can't live here anymore. You have to take that bakery and be someplace else because you're a danger.
Saima, don't they have a mind flayer head lying around? Do they?
Oh, they have lots of things, I think.
Maybe.
Strix definitely takes stuff.
Parts,
Definitely.
things.
I know Magnus definitely cut off the one Mind Flayer's head, but I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah. I think Strix collects a lot of things, so it's probably like lots of, not necessarily heads, lots of pieces.
Saima also points out that now they're being accused of killing a high cleric.
It's true.
Yeah. Depending on how, I guess, persuasive evilins can be, I guess, to get themselves out.
Strix's room, Scotty says Strix's room is a trophy room with
Mhm.
the amount of stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, what would be cool is if she eventually gets her own little hut or whatever, and she can put all the stuff she's been snatching and have it all hanging there. I try in the wiki, the Dice Camera Action wiki, I try to, whenever they get equipment, I try to list it on their page. Sometimes though, when their equipment goes away, I really don't want to erase it. I don't know why. I just can't bring myself to do it sometimes they do have some stuff hanging, but it's like, so she's got a nice list of weird little thingies.
Yeah,
that she picked
and then
up
like
along the way.
incidental things that she just grabs from defeated or strange things.
I had another. Okay, so Paulton has this animated severed hand, Handrew.
Handrew.
And he's like, he taught it how to shoot the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that got me about this was he taught Simon how to load the gun.
Yeah, Simon also like
Don't
if he's gonna load the gun, he's gonna be able to see how this gun works.
It wasn't that long ago that we had the Simon attempts suicide episode. Don't give him a gun. You nuts? What are you?
I mean,
I don't want to see that happen on this show.
Gun. I mean, safety from Warrington Munt maybe it might be in. It's like if anybody knows how to safely use it, it's one. They should maybe tell him that they have a gun.
Now I'm just picturing like a 1950s safety video with Warrington Munt as the narrator.
Yeah,
he's an expert, on the gunpowder and stuff like that.
Warrington should give them a gun safety class,
or at least or you can make Andrew shoot better. Like,
true.
It would also make Warrington happy because he misses his gun.
How does Warrington? I mean, like, Andrew doesn't have eyes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess he can see somehow, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's a little weird. How does he see the target?
Andrew.
Do crawling claws have blind sense? I'm not actually sure.
They must, right?
They do for 30 feet.
30.
Yep.
Interesting. That might come up in the game.
Yeah.
Where Andrew's got to shoot somebody, and he's technically really got a range of 30 feet. Can't see anything beyond 30 feet.
Yeah.
Andrew was a gift from the Raven Queen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We never found out why, did we?
He's Chigakure's hand, right?
Yeah.
And she gave him to Paulton to lead them to the chalice and stuff. I do believe. Which ended up into the whole Shadowfell Rainwinter thing that got all messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Let me see.
Paulton has a lot of like things that shoot poison stuff.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. All right. I think we're just about out of time anyway, so we gotta wrap it up. Thank you everybody for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. This is gonna go up on YouTube very soon. And we'll be back next week, same time. And Sean, you got any plugs?
Just Hell's Rebels on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a 5e version of Pathfinder Path Hell's Rebels, where we are revolutionaries against a infernal government, and we have as one of our gangs a school of girls. It's awesome.
Hmm.
Dylan, do you have any plugs?
I do. Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Power Square RPG. We're doing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, where we just had Troll Tide, and there was a troll that we killed. Now we're the Troll Slayers at Troll Skull Alley. And we run a business called the Noodle Trolls. There's a lot of troll stuff going on. Come join us for the fun.
Hopefully we won't end up with Russian trolls in the chat, though.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and also earlier today on the Greyhawk channel, I run a Secrets of Castle Greyhawk. We had a really good episode. And on that show, Kika from the Chickenfoot Coven is on that show every week. She's freaking hilarious. That's a really awesome group. Yeah, and they're going through Castle Greyhawk. So, the other thing I wanted to mention real quick. I don't know if you have anybody watching. If you have any interest in the Neverwinter MMO, they just released the Acquisitions Inc. expansion, and I played through a little bit of it. The storyline, it's very amusing. You know, I mean, because they have the voices of Jim Darkmagic, they have the voice of Omen, and they have Walnut Dankgrass, and you go through this you go to the Acquisitions Inc. headquarters. And you know they're gonna hire you as an intern, and you have to go on this little Disney ride, and it falls apart. And there's this giant gold statue of Jim, and there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. So if you ever thought about trying Neverwinter, you might want to check it out now because those are low-level quests too. So you know, you start at 1, you go up to 70. The first quest is level 15. So you can get to it, and level 15 doesn't take that long to get to. So you can get, 15 and then 25, I think is the next one. So it's really cool, and you definitely might want to check it out. It's very amusing, although I got it's I don't know if there's a bug or if I'm just missing something, but I
think there might have been something that they fixed.
And you're level 60, right, Shauna?
63.
Yeah, we got a 63.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're talking. I have a white owlbear mount now.
Oh, rad. I still look super evil. It's Warlocks look super evil in that game.
Yeah. I also have a flying broom. So
nice. You got the broom? Rad.
Nice.
Took forever to get that.
Yeah, I saw the mats for that thing were a lot.
And yeah, I don't want to spoil the golden statue, but something really cool happens with the golden statue in that. So if you got the time, it's free. You can definitely check it out. What class? I'm a Guardian Fighter. And Shauna, what are you?
I'm a Scourge Warlock.
Scourge Warlock.
Yeah.
Nivedna, actually, we're just ending, but you should pop up in the archive on my channel in just a few minutes, so you can watch it. But thank you. Let's see if I can hit this button. Thank you, everybody, for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And, we'll be back again next week, talking more dice camera action. And we will find out what's going on in this church.
Deeper trouble with and
the church stuff. All right. So thanks a lot. See you again next time.